here's my audience, my lovely roommates, and our lovely dogs. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we're going to start looking at my research, and then I'll show you my final renderings and how everything came out. So my first character up, and this is not calculated for my renderings, this is Theseus. So I wanted to really keep him in the Y2K style, but maintain the kind of power and presence that he has. And that's something that was very difficult to me because a lot of the style icons at that time were kind of silly, and I didn't want him to seem silly. He needs to be like threatening and imposing. And so I kind of settled into these two as a reference images. This is obviously Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, okay? And a picture that is now extremely like memeable, but at the time and for this kind of style, it is kind of subdued, but also like extremely iconic of the genre. And that's something that I really wanted to go for. And then this is NSYNC at an award show, and specifically I'm looking at him, okay? And I think this is just the elevated version of this, okay? So here's some pieces I could choose today. That'd be that plain black moto jacket, okay? That oversized white shirt simply with the chain, okay? Then here it is kind of pulled together. And then I would put it with maybe a basic black jean or a black leather pant, okay? So next up we have Hippolyta, okay? And for her, I was pulling from two very different references and marrying them together. So the first one is Paris Hilton's 21st birthday party, okay? She wore this extremely iconic mesh diamante chainmail dress, okay? And that's the official title from the designer, okay? And then here's a reproduction of it I got on Etsy for $98. So it's within a budget that I think we could work with, okay? And I wanted to marry that reference, that royalty, princessy, she's the queen of her people kind of thing, with the fact that above all else, she's still a warrior, okay? And for that, I wanted to go to Y2K punk style. So it is this dress with the Y2K punk styling. I love these boots. This was the vibe I was going for, and I love the wrist guards on Avril Lavigne over here, okay? So you can see my final rendering for her came out like this. Okay, so here's the fabric, that mesh diamante I talked about, and here's the rendering, and here is my line drawing, and I can pass this around to you guys right now. Okay, so here's the first drawing, and here's how it came out finally. I really, really love this one. I think that it came out super, super well, and I love the vibe that she's giving off. I think it's absolutely perfect. You can all see this. Okay. So my next character was Oberon. Okay, so he is the king of the fairies, right? And he too is like threatening and imposing, but I think less so than Theseus, right? He's kind of this all-seeing, all-knowing kind of vibe, and also he is, I'm sorry, my dog, he is ageless, graceful, but in a powerful way. You can just let him up on the couch. Okay, so I pulled a lot of references for these, okay? So first off, this is the color palette I was originally looking at. I decided to add some more color into it at the end because it felt really, really boring. Hi, Sunny. Come here, baby. Okay, and then this is the silhouette I was going for, right? That low-rise hip, okay? The cutout, the really tight fabric, all of that really spoke to Y2K for me. And this was the fabric choice I was looking at, this like tight, lycra, metallic kind of spandex look, okay, which again really felt the vibes to me. And then this picture is just like, this is his essence, right? And I wanted to marry this essence with the styling that I wanted. And so I think that came out really well in my final rendering of him, which is right here. So it is in that style you see, that mesh fabric, that light blue metallic stretch jersey is what I found online, and I really love that for the piece. So that is this body part here. And then these are dark green, not black. The picture does not do it exact justice, but hopefully when you see it here in my line drawing in my final rendering, you'll see that coloring I did. It's an overlapped with the alcohol marker, so it's kind of a, in the sunlight you see it, in the dark you don't kind of thing, which I kind of love for him, because I feel like he is that way. It reads like an oil slick to me, and I really, really enjoy that, so you guys can go see those. And then this is brocade. Which I did not render very well or much detail, but this is definitely like the brocade across the top. And this is directly pulled from that reference image I really liked. Okay. So next up is Titania, okay? And these are all animated references, so interpolating them was really fascinating to me. So these are all from Winx Club, which is a 2000s animated show for children, okay, which really heavily pulls from the Y2K style that was prevalent at the time, but marries it with high fantasy elements, which is exactly what the fairies are in my story. So I pulled a lot from them. So specifically for Titania, I loved this dress here. I ended up rendering it in purple, which I liked better. And it's sparkly here, but I actually interpreted it as a pebbled leather texture, which I really, really liked for her. These pieces here, so she does have the chest pieces, okay? And then instead of this big cape or the long skirt, I gave her the boots from her and the hairstyle of her instead of an outright crown. I thought that this was better. It had more movement to it and a little bit more like alternate presence than just like a standard crown would have. And let's see, I did a final rendering of her as well. And now here you can see it. So this is the purple pebbled leather I talked about, which is this body of the dress. These are some navy blue, and then this is the two plastic pieces for structure, and then this is going to be a lilac organza here. And then you can see them here. She's a lot better in person than she is. So here's my line drawing. Here's my final rendering. She's a lot better in person than she is on picture, I think. But the colors are really stunning against that dark skin I chose. And you cannot tell, she is an amputee. I really valued diversity in the models I chose. And I thought that really spoke to the characters being sort of like ageless, beautiful woman. And perhaps the fact that she's an amputee really is a beautiful thing. Okay, so next character is Puck. Okay, so this is another character I did not render entirely. So the two references here are again from Winx Club, okay? So this is actually an OC, this is not a character from the show. So this is really the color palette I wanted to go with. Of course, green is traditional for Puck. I think that there's a reason why. You know what I mean? It's mischievous, it's connected to nature. It fits him, and that's why everyone does it. I don't think there's any reason to go against that, necessarily. And then this was the silhouette I was looking at. So this is definitely the color scheme, but I wanted Puck to be a gender-neutral character because Puck is played with men and women regularly, and I love the idea of it being a style that could be no matter who is cast, right? So it's this longer tunic style, and then I would go with leggings, okay, and the gloves, and then the neckline would be a little bit higher up